What is up? I'm Harbor with Extra Credit Design Club, and this is part, well, let's see, we did straight, round, shoulder, angled, numbers, punctuation, spacing. This is part 8 of the Intro to Typeface Design series. Alright, so up until now, we've designed all of our characters in our geometric sans serif typeface using Glyphs Mini, and we have got our spacing nice. Now in this video, we are going to worry about kerning, or the individual spacing between certain problem pairs of letters. Now I've reminded you once before, but I'm going to say it here again. If you have not refined your drawings to where you're really happy with them and made your spacing good before you kern, stop and do that now. Your life will be so much easier if you first draw the letters you like, second, worry about your overall spacing, and then third, kern. If you do them out of order and one thing changes, hallelujah, it's a mess. That being said, let's jump into the software. You're familiar with this interface by now. And when it comes to kerning, how Glyphs Mini handles it is through kerning groups. You're not going to individually kern each letter. That's what spacing was for. However, just as a good practice, it is good to put each letter in a kerning group, even if it's a group of one. As an example here, I'll start just with a capital A. And down here at the bottom left, you can see this panel. Let's see if I can grow it. Nope, okay, it's just that size. We have our kerning group, left and right. So this being the capital A, I'm going to put it in kerning group A. And on the right, A as well. For B, because I know that the left side is straight, I'm going to put that in the kerning group H. Remember, we base everything off of H. And I'm going to put on the kerning group on the right, B. And I'm going to go on down and down the line and making these groups. A lot of the groups will be similar to the side bearings, but they will not always be the same. For example, the capital A has a side bearing of 5 and 5, and the capital T has the side bearings A. However, I will not put it in the kerning group A because the kerning of A is very different than the kerning of T, even though the side bearings are the same. I'm going to go down the line and I will be naming all of these A, B, C. I'll just do it in the same way that I did earlier. I'll look at the left side. I'll start with the H group. So B, D, E, F, H, I, K, L, M, N, P, R, and then I will call all of these H. And then I will look at the right side for any straight. We have H, I, we have R, M, N, and that looks like our straights. Moving on to the rounds, I know I have C on the left side there, G, I have O, Q, and that is going to get a left of O. On the right we have C, D, G, O, and Q. So that will be O on the right side. Moving forward, I know that my V and my W can be in the same group because they're the same shape. And so I will, for both sides, I'll just name it V and V. Now, even though my V and W are in the same group as far as side bearings go, with my Y is a different shape, and you need to be more particular with kerning. So my Y is going to go in its own group here. Y on either side. And I think with that, I am pretty safe to put E, in its own group. Nothing really looks like an E, F on the right side in its own group. So I have A, B, C, D. And I'm just looking down here at the bottom left, making sure that each one of these is populated with something. G, H, oh, I gotta put H on my right side. I, same, I need that on the right. I think I missed my right side. J, and then for the right, I'll have that be U because they're the same shape. And I'm just going down. L has its own. M and N on the right side were H. O, P has its own. You might think that it is the same as the F, and you might be able to get away with it, but remember, kerning needs to be very particular, so I'm not. R, S is its own thing. S is its own grandpa. T, and U. I'll just finish up these caps real quick, and then boom, 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 we have V, W. We need X to be done here. X and X. And then we did our Y, and finally the Z. So with that, I will leave you to do the lowercase. I'm not going to do each individual one, but you know what to do. If two letters share a similar shape, like the A, the C, the D, the E, the G, O, Q, they all have that bowl on the left side. I'm going to call those all O, making sure that it's a lowercase o, not a capital O. All the ones that are round on the right, I'm going to do the same. All the ones that have a similar shape to the N, you get the idea. Making sure that every character in the alphabet is part of a kerning group. All right, we fast forwarded with the lowercase and the uppercase set. Moving on to the numbers. One thing to note is with the numbers, I could just put, okay, 0 or O there, awesome. And when I get to the 1, I'm going to put H on the right. But for the left, I'm definitely going to want to put 1. It's a unique shape. But one thing to note is that I don't need to type out 1, O-N-E, as I did for the side bearings. You don't need to name exactly the character. The kerning groups can have arbitrary names. I can name them whatever I want. You'll see that later on with the punctuation, but just know that with the numbers, I put most of them in their own groups, and I just named them, 6, 5, 7. For the 8, I did 8 on the left, but B on the right, because it shares a similar shape to the B, and so on and so forth. Moving on to the punctuation, we can go about this with the same methodology, selecting different punctuation marks that have the same shape on the right or left. So I'm looking here on the left of these, and my period, my comma, and my ellipse, and I'm even going to say my underscore. I'm going to get crazy. All have the similar shape on the left, so I am going to put them in a group, and I'm going to call it PER for period. And shape on the right is the same as well. I just put PER because it's quicker than writing period. And remember, the names of the groups are arbitrary. I could name them whatever I would like. For the colon, I am going to name it col, and I'm going to apply that group to the semicolon as well. And I'm just going to go down for the H, the exclamation, all of this, naming them as I go based on similar shape. And remember, you can name them anything you would like. Things that I tend to group together, just as a quick note, are the asterisk, and all of the quotation marks are grouped together. They have that shape of just a bloop on the top of the character. We already went over the period, comma, ellipse, underscore, and then I will usually group all of the dashes together. Alright, so fast forwarding, I have everything named. Just to double check, what I like to do is select this top character, and I'm looking down here at the bottom left under the kerning groups, and I'm just hitting my arrow over and over and over, and making sure that every one of these groups is at least populated with something. I don't want to have any empty groups, and I'm stalling to make sure this is all good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, my shoulder's empty, but it doesn't matter because my shoulder will not be exported. There you have it. All right, now that you have everything in a kerning group, it's time to actually start kerning. And the big question is, which pairs of letters do I kern? Just which ones are the problem ones? So, I have cooked up a little list here. You can look at this. You can screenshot this. Ready, set. Okay, you screenshotted it. Cool. And you can use this as a reference in Glyphs Mini for your kerning. Now, just a plug for Glyphs, the full version, there is a feature where you can upload text strings and automatically populate them so you don't have to manually type them in. Just a little plug, a little cool feature of the full Glyphs app that Glyphs Mini does not have included. But with that said, these are the glyphs that are usually the problems, the problem pairs that we like to kern, or that I personally kern when I'm using my typeface. Now, the thing that you want to note when you are kerning is you never want to kern in a vacuum. If I were to just kern this A and T in a vacuum alone, not in any actual word, the tendency for most people is to kern things too tightly, overcompensate for that negative space. So I'm just going to, with each one of these, type in a word and see how things fit together. So I might go for AT, I might go atomics. Okay. And now within the context of the word, I can click between the A and the T, between the pair that I want to kern. So I'm going to click in between my letter pairs here, and down in this little info panel, there is a kern feature. So right now my T is selected, and I want to go to the left side of my T where it butts up against the A, and I am going to kern, and I'm just going to hold shift and down arrow. Here I take the same approach as I do with spacing. I work generally in increments of 10, sometimes in increments of 5. And I am going to look at my letter and kern it as I do. Squint my eyes, lean back. Maybe I'm going to open up this panel down here. And to me, okay, negative 70 looks good. My AV, maybe I type in aviation. Okay. And then I'm going to kern in between. And you can see that as I'm kerning my A and my V, my A and my W is also being kerned because they are in the same group. Your V and your W won't always be in the same group, but in this context, with this particular typeface, they are. So, aviation, I'm looking at it, and I think, yeah, negative 60, possibly negative 70. We'll split the difference. We'll go negative 65. Looks good to me. Oh, awful. Okay, does that still look good? Yeah. Maybe I will go for that negative 70. Aviation. Okay, I'll use my same word here with the capital and lowercase. And I'll just beep until it looks good. I'm looking up here. I'm looking down here. Kind of comparing and contrasting. Awards. How's it looking there? I think it could be slightly, okay, minus 60. This is in the Y is in the V group, so that is automatically updated. By. Let's see. Normally the B and the Y don't need some kerning, but with this particular typeface, because my Y is so wide, I figured I might kern a shape with a curved top up here. So my B, let's see, by, just 10. 10 is probably good. 20 is too much. Yep, just 10. Quick baby little kern. Probably didn't need it, but I'm gonna go above and beyond. Let's see, faith. Maybe just a slight kerning here. 20, okay. And because my E is in the same group as my A and my O, those are automatically updated. I don't know a word that starts with KV, so I'm just going to pretend that's a word. Oh, and I'm going to go in between my K and V. And I'm looking at it. How are we looking? Okay, that to me looks good. Oh, Kyle, that's a word. Okay, maybe I went a little too tight, you see? I did a made-up word, and like always, the tendency is to kern too tightly. Alright, boom, -30. We'll do lovers. And you know what? My L and my O looks pretty good. I might go, 10 pixels maybe. Yeah, I'll just go 10 just for kicks. Let's see. For LT, melting maybe. Okay. I don't want to go too crazy. -50. And you get the idea here. I'm not going to do the rest. I'm going to leave you to it. The next thing I want to show you is kerning punctuation. So, right here, I've titled this, "Help, help," in quotes and a ... Did they get help? I don't know. But right here, we are going to work with quotations, the ... and I might even throw in, if I want to get extra fancy, the hyphens, M-, N-, center, period, all those. So, these are the characters that really need some love with quotation marks. A normal word like help is going to look good, right? But something like, instead of yelling help, if you yell, "Ah!" and I put that in quotes, you can see that I got a lot of negative space here, and I can close that up. So I'm going to do just that. -120, that seems good, and I will do the same matching here. -120. Awesome. My J, I am going to need to do the quotes on just the one side, probably. Maybe something, I don't want to be too extreme. I'll do that, -140. My L, I'm going to need to adjust the quotes on the right side. So, going down there. Yeah, that looks good. I'll do 100. And then the T, I'm going to do a weird thing here, and I'm going to reverse kern, maybe. Maybe it's still just regular kerning. But I am going to give myself a little extra breathing room for the T. So, let's go. Okay, I'll just go 30 in here. Oh. 30. I might want to do the same with the Y, V, W in some cases. But honestly, the Y, V, and W don't look as bad as the T. Maybe just because I'm on a roll, I'll give myself a little bit of space. 20 on either side there. And then finally, we have the periods, or maybe not finally. We'll do the hyphens as well. These are the characters that are going to give us problems with the periods, and I might even add F, T, and R to the mix there. Possibly even V, W, Y. Okay. And same thing, I'm just going to type in a period. Let's see. Barf with the current kerning right now, or lack thereof. Always within the context of a word. And I'm just going to... I don't want it to be too far in like this, is gonna be lost, gonna be crazy wild. I still want it to be outside of the character. Something like this, I think, -120. And same with the P, the T, the V, you get the idea. Finally, the hyphens. The problem characters here are mainly going to be the K, possibly the lowercase k, and the X, possibly the lowercase x. And finally, the J's. So these are the ones that are a little bit just weird in the center. Like always, I can just go about K, H, comparing it to the H. I'm just bringing it in, not too crazily. You know, we don't want to get lost. Finally, with kerning, one more thing to go over that's specific to the software. If you go up here to Window and go to kerning, you can pull up this kerning window that is impossible to read unless you are highlighting a specific group. So these will bring up all of your kerning groups and all of the pairs within that group. So for example, I have at A, meaning this is the A group. And then when I twirl it down, I can see that it is paired with all these different groups. A and the T, A and the V, A and the QT group, A and the lowercase v group, and so on and so forth. So that is kerning. Just as a quick bonus, because, I mean, you've learned basically everything you need to know for your first typeface, I'm going to hit you with one last thing in this video, and that is exporting your typeface. It's as easy in Glyphs Mini as can be. All you need to do is go up to File and Export. If you're using the trial version, I don't believe you can name your typeface. It just will have like regular default naming, something that the trial version does to protect people from taking advantage of it. However, just a couple of options here. You can remove overlap. That will automatically apply. Remember with the remove overlap filter, how it just made all the component shapes one singular shape. And I would suggest that you remove the overlap, especially if you are doing just a single font with a single weight, nothing crazy. And then auto hinting is something that I always leave checked as well. That just automatically, if you have a low resolution display or a very small point size on a raster image, it will kind of compensate for that, add gray pixels where they need to be. You could manually hint, but that's a whole nother topic for an advanced crowd. After that, you choose where to save it and you choose your file type. Open type is the one you're going to use 99% of the time. Web font is only if you are specifically embedding the font within your web page. So there you have it. You finished the series, pretty much everything you need to know to create your first typeface. But wait, there's more. So as one more bonus video I'm going to add on the end is diacritics. If you want to expand your typeface for multilingual use, a very important part of that is diacritics. It's something I didn't want to overwhelm you with at first. I just wanted to hit you with the basics, but now hopefully you have a grasp on drawing, spacing, everything there is. And now I'm going to hit you with one more thing because you've mastered all of that. In the next video, we are going to talk about expanding your typeface and diacritics.